Hello everyone, Connie here talking about MapleFest. Oh wait, actually I'm so sorry, it's called MapleCon, as we all know. So this was my third Maple event. 2022 MapleFest was my first year. That was an amazing year. That one was really fun, really good, really small. Had everything on lock. Merch was able to squeeze right through. 2024 was a shit show, of course, as everybody knows. I feel like very overcrowded. That was my biggest complaint. And then obviously that kind of led to merch being sold out immediately. Before like noon, I think we were in line already. And as we were approaching getting through the line, things were just selling out like hotcakes. So overall, not a bad year. We still left with the Black Mage statue. We got a lot of good gifts too. Now, on to 2025, MapleCon. So I just want to go ahead and jump into it. I'm going to start off talking about just my personal experience. I wasn't there for very long. I was only there for about 45 to 50 minutes. And when I say there, I mean inside the venue. I spent 3 hours outside the venue trying to get in. So, parked at about 8:55, shady area, border of Compton. Not in Long Beach like I had anticipated. I guess technically it probably was in Long Beach, but overall it was in some industrial area by the train tracks. Okay, great. So park at around 8:55, get in line at around pretty much exactly 9. And the line was already wrapped around over the river and through the woods. So it was one continuous line, and there were a lot of people. I honestly was not expecting that many people. I assumed that people were not being let in yet, like maybe it was just closed and they were just trying to figure things out, but apparently they were letting people in at that point, but the line was just insane. And so I mean, everybody knows, I'm sure there's a million different videos that will tell you the same thing. The lines were just, the worst part about it, of course, whatever. So we're waiting in this really, really long line. It's all people. So there's Platinum and GA in there. I go all the way to the front to try to ask security and double check that this is the correct line. He was really aggressive. Obviously, he was probably really stressed about, a bunch of people coming up and being like, is this the line? Is this the line? I'm sure people were also getting aggressive with him too. So I don't really fault him for that. But yeah, told me to get to the back, basically. So we walk all the way to the back. We're next to some train tracks. There's just nothing around. Not even a liquor store, not to get some water, nothing. So dehydrated and afraid in the back. We started checking the Discord. People were kind of just saying the same thing, very confused. At this point, it was already past 9 and merch was already like selling out. So merch this year was with a QR code. People had already been leaking the QR code to people who were waiting outside. So obviously merch is going to sell out fast. People with platinum tiers were supposed to be let in from 9 to 10, I believe, before it started, to get early merch access. I'm honestly not sure who was the lucky few that got in. I have no idea, but I did see that people were waiting. So at some point, maybe about 45 minutes, an hour into it, they started to split the line off from GA to Plat. That only lowered the Plat line by a tiny bit. When I say tiny bit, we moved a couple steps forward every few minutes or so. It really didn't make that big of a difference. So obviously people are now realizing that there seems to be more platinum tickets that were sold than general admission. Did not help that people were really, really trying to get in for merch. And then we obviously are realizing that we're not going to be able to get in. Merch is selling out as we're speaking. On the Maple Story Discord, people were posting updates, pretty much live updates about what was going on inside. And QR code for the merch line was getting leaked to people on the outside. Obviously, people with their friends and stuff, they're gonna share it, of course. I get it, but yeah, it kind of makes you wonder why they decided to do a QR code for merch. Obviously those anything that's like digital is going to get spread around, versus having to just wait in a line and make your payment there and getting your items. I mean, even last year at 2024, that worked way better. Like, yeah, we were still in line and things were selling out, but it was kind of like we were at least there and experiencing it firsthand versus getting in way later than we expected, even after waiting 3 hours in line, and kind of seeing and realizing, oh, there's nothing left. So that was obviously one of the big disappointments. I'm sure everybody will tell you the same thing. So we're in the line. We're obviously realizing we're not getting in anytime soon. So it's about 11:30 at this point, that we start getting, there's a separate line. So once you pass the gate, the front gate, there is another line that you have to wait in. And that line is kind of like a little zigzag around, maybe about, I honestly couldn't tell you, maybe about 60 people in that line, 70. I really don't know. I'm not too great with estimating that type of thing, but it was obviously a significantly smaller line. So we're waiting in that line, and they start to split people off based off of if you did early badge pickup and if you did not do early badge pickup, and you had to pick up your badge right then and there. So the people who were in front of us who did early badge pickup did not get in before us. They had to wait in a separate line. Not quite sure what was going on with that line. I did not investigate because I was just so excited to be in the front and I wanted to get in already. So we're at the front. We check in, we get our badges, we get our platinum bags, and kind of look through everything. Everything looks great. But then I check on the MapleStory Discord, and I am seeing that people are saying that the journal is not included because apparently some shipment got lost in transit with the journals, and they weren't included in a lot of the plat bags. Now I checked my bag, obviously it's not there. At this point, have waited so long that I'm just kind of move on from that, even though it really did piss me off, especially when you're paying that much money for something that is advertised as included and you don't get that thing. It's extremely disappointing. So yeah, that did not make me happy. And then so we get in, and on the left side there are two little things that you can do. There's the arcade, and then there's the Classic World demo. I believe we went in the arcade first. We go in there and there's 3 activities. The first one on the left is the one that tests your reflexes. The little poles drop and you kind of have to like catch them. They're dropping kind of in a half circle around you. So there was that line for that. In the middle there was a photo op with like the Punch King. So the one that you literally punch and see your score, and that was it. So we did that, took the picture, and then on the right there was a photo booth. It was super cute. The setup was really cute. Line was already wrapped around. We moved on from that. So arcade was over after about 5 to 6 minutes. And then we go to the Classic World demo, which was right across in this big hall. 15 minutes of playtime. Not honestly too sure how it worked. So we just jumped into it. I remember there being like a little card on the side of the keyboards that kind of gave you a little bit of a guide, so you can pick what you want to do. Like there's different things you can do. You can do the Kerning City PQ. We tried to do that. We could not figure it out. We made a little party. Could not. Yeah. So very disappointed. We were really excited to do that, but basically you just spawned into this like custom map with NPCs. Kind of click around and explore. You could do the jump quest too, which I'm honestly 95%. I'm not even gonna fact check this. I'm just gonna throw it out there. I'm pretty sure you can still do this this JQ like today. Like I'm pretty sure you can still do this one. I think it was the Forest of Patience. So yeah, I'm too lazy to fact check, to be honest with you, but if you know, please let me know. I'm pretty sure you can still do this today, so it didn't really feel special to me. I honestly did not get the classic feel that I was hoping for. I mean, when you go into something like this, you don't really know what to expect, but I don't know, I was a little bit let down. And totally just being transparent, I'm more of a casual player. I couldn't tell you the percentages of the skills and, you know, their duration and things like that. I was never that girl. Like, I hung out with the henny hoes, so, you know, I'm not really the best person to ask about stuff like that. But overall, you know, it was still cool to kind of see the graphics and see some of the old skills and, you know, the old classes and stuff like that. So I would say that was the highlight, even though I didn't really understand totally what was going on, to be honest. But we ended up leaving, walked past the showcase area because I think it was the first one that was going on. We weren't really too interested in it, so we just walked to the other side of the hall. And I mean, boy, let me tell you, as soon as we get around the corner, lines. Don't even know what it was for. Lines. Line here, line there. Longest line I've ever seen at any Maple anything ever of all time. I believe it was for the gacha. Keychains. I'm not quite sure because we kind of did a little lap, a quick lap. We were not about to wait in no type of line for that long. Like, I'll just go on Etsy and pay someone to make me a keychain like that. That's just insane. It was so long. We obviously understood this was where the good stuff was. The gacha, the merch was in the back of the building, and then there's like a customizable tote bag, I think, which, to be totally honest, I didn't even know that was a thing that was offered there until I saw the line for it, and I was like, okay, we're definitely not doing that. So we kind of just glanced through. I'm still checking the Discord for updates, especially about the merch. I want to see what's still available. I want to see what's sold out. And we go and see the QR code, scan that QR code, no service. Tried to get on the Wi-Fi, no service. It did not load. It took about 15 minutes for me to even get anything to load. We just sat in the corner and just kind of were contemplating what we should do next, thinking about how we got to this point, what led up to this, why we started playing Maple. So it was pretty miserable. We're looking online. Everything good is really sold out. There's only like the little items, and then a couple of t-shirts as well that we weren't really interested in. I'm still kind of looking at the website anyway because I want to see how it works. And they kept asking me for to input like my QR code number or something like that. And I was looking up and I didn't really see it. And I was like, you know what? Let's just give up. We're done. It's fine. And I know a lot of people have already talked about this, but the merch was like super weird. I wasn't really sure what was going on either, to be on. Admittedly, I didn't really know what was going on in general. But there was maybe about 10 different lines, like kind of short lines that people were waiting in. I think they were to pick up their merch. So what it was you pay online and you buy the merch, and then you go when your order is ready. I don't know, somehow some people were getting their names called out. Some people were getting, I think, maybe text updates or something on their phone, some sort of notification that their order was ready. They'd go and pick it up. Later on that day, I'm going on Reddit. Obviously, I see people saying that they didn't even have their orders totally fulfilled. Things were missing out of their orders. Apparently, some people were going and saying they never got their order, and they would get it twice. So stealing merch, which is a whole other thing. I don't even have to tell y'all, like, nothing. You get it. You already know. Then also, apparently, people were only getting partial refunds instead of full refunds for their stuff. So we ended up leaving and going to the showcase area, watching a little bit of I think it was the Make a Monster, Create a Monster showcase, something like that. We were just really tired at this point. We waited 3 hours outside in that line, and we just didn't really feel like spending any more money. We didn't want to give any more of our money to Nexon that day. We had already spent so much on the tickets. I spent, money on a flight to get there. So I was feeling pretty down at that point. We were only there for about 45 to 50 minutes and we left. So we left and went to get Korean barbecue, and I feel like that was the best decision we made that entire day. And I was really pissed off the rest of the day. I'm not gonna lie. That ruined my whole trip. Like, that was the sole reason for going out there. It really felt like a slap in the face, honestly. Obviously a lot of people went for Classic. Classic World was, I think, the last showcase of the day. We didn't even we didn't even care. We did not want to see anything. We did not care about the giveaway. We didn't give a hoot or a holler about the merch, about the food, about getting a gotcha keychain. No, just didn't give a fuck. Like, just, yeah. So, I mean, it was just really like a big letdown. I feel like the vibe the rest of the day was just so dreary and sad, and it was just a big letdown. I honestly got the vibes of like the Willy Wonka Glasgow experience thrown in there. It was giving me like the same vibe. I don't know. So now we're on the Maple memo that was released a few days after the convention, and I say that word very loosely. Just kind of giving an apology, explaining a little bit of what happened, their shortcomings of the miscommunication that was going on between their staff and the venue staff, poor coordination, things like their servers disrupting for merchandise. And I really just don't understand what they expected. I really don't understand where they thought they were going to, and this is just like hindsight's 2020, because now I see it. When the tickets were being sold, I was just so excited about it because 2024 wasn't that terrible. I mean, it wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible as well. Like, there were more things to do. I just feel like for my $30 something, I got a better experience out of it, and I didn't really my expectations weren't as high as they were this year, especially spending that much money. You would kind of expect things to run a bit more smooth. It doesn't really feel that great to leave a convention and have them apologize, but also give you a chance to order merch, like selected merch that may have been the most popular. You know what I mean? Like, just here is your second chance. Even though you paid that much money, you should have been able to get it the first time. And then also too, the in-game compensation is a joke. Obviously, like, I'm good off the VIP boosters. I don't know about y'all, but I've kind of hit my limit with those, you know what I mean? Like, I'm kind of over that. So yeah, that's just pretty much my thoughts, my experience on what happened. I kind of had a little bit more to say, but just for the sake of kind of keeping it concise and not really getting too far off topic, I just wanted to share really my experience with it, because I know that a lot of other people have already kind of gave good feedback and things that they can do better for the future years. So I kind of wanted to stay away from that. But so if you guys went, let me know how your experience went. I'm sure we all had very similar times there. So I'm just really curious, and I'm sorry that happened to you. Okay, well, have a lovely rest of y'all's week.